Okay, it's time to start. Thank you for attending today's webinar. Today's webinar topic is for the AI agent for the autonomous patent management and monetization. So I'm going to briefly go about the topics, and then I'll show you live demo to show the proof of concept level, the live demo, interactive demo for this each the AI agent powered frameworks to the different type of the patent management and monetization. Okay, so this webinar will be recorded and shared. And then also I already shared the presentation in chat. And also I will share the recording and the presentation through the email. Okay, I will start. So first, this is the one actually that a venture capital in UK recently produced some landscape of the how AI is used in IP management. Usually, this cover much broader than patent. So they also cover other type of the intellectual properties like a brand, copyright, trademark, and other things, but mostly the dominant is patent. So you can see that the most of the this is a very old topic. So prior to search and the patent uh, review and analysis, and including the having for kind of the prior search plus embellished search, another type of the search and for the relate to the patent management. Also, like you can see recently a lot of the drafting and filing, kind of the drafting, the auto drafting, if you provide the traditional invention disclosure, then they can automatically fill out all the formalities fill out. And also in the filing stage, there is a lot of the software based on AI available for example, office action and other type of the related patent prosecution and then patent management kind. And also it's a monetization like licensing and infringement type of search. There are some mostly in here is in general IP, and then I look at the detail about it, and then I found that a few actually directly relate to patent licensing and infringement. Actually, that I'm going to show all my own uh, platform. Also, there is other type of the portfolio operation, portfolio management, and other type of like valuation and other type loyalty calculation type. So this is a very, very exciting area now because of the advancement of AI. So I'm going to share my own work today. So personally, I'm a IP expert. Actually, I've been in IP industry for 20 years. And additionally, for including other tech industry experience, I've been in industry 30 years after my PhD and also a U.S. Patent attorney, additionally New York State attorney, and I have a very intensively involving, especially for the old good day. Like there was a starting from the big companies debate dispute about their smartphone and then 4G LTE communication, and there was a huge kind of acquisition M&A was very, very active. And I was in the core of the process. And so I know about a lot of the process and also like a patent attorney. I drafted a lot of the patent and also like I have my own invention. So I know about all the details about this process, and additionally, as I told you, I'm also like industry experience long time. So I'm also like not only the patent attorney, I'm innovator. So I developed my own innovation. I also filed my own, and then recently I involved a lot of the innovation in AI in focus on healthcare application. And that's why that I just because I once I actually the learning curve, I have a lot of experience developing the they call agentic AI or AI agent to apply to the in most of the different field of the healthcare, the starting from diagnostics, therapeutics, and treatment, and some hospital management operation, and another area is kind of like drug discovery, clinical research, and medical device development, or something like that. So I have been there space for 2 years, and then I aggressively to apply AI to develop a new type of solution that space. And then I just touch upon that. Oh, okay. So I have enough experience of developing AI agent for the healthcare application. I just look at my old problem, right? Because I done a lot of the working in IP space, especially like drafting, filing, prosecution, and management, especially the focus on monetization space. And then I think about whether because I have enough experience developing AI agent for other areas. So, and then I know about a lot of the detail about this space. And I started to to tackle one by one that I have done before in manually. So I done a lot of things manually. So I know about what the painstaking and what was the bottleneck is very time consuming and large effort needed. And then try to apply my default level understanding of the AI agent to space. And I found that it's working. So, so I started to providing solution one by one. I think that now I can provide all the solution, much better solution in this all this space. That's I found that so I just starting to developing some POC, and I try to have some communication with industry professional in this space to have some opportunity to further develop in collaboration. So this webinar is the first my attempt that I develop several a different type of the a solution based on the most frontier AI. And then I just do I just prove it in the conceptual level is working. And then I want to share with you, and then I want to have some opportunity to have a further collaboration to develop this as a commercial product in the later stage. Okay, so the conceptual AI agent is because if you are in tech area, everybody know about this concept, right? Because it's all big giant and all frontiers in startups working in this space, and so they call AI agent or agentic AI. Is some professionals tried to differentiate between AI agent and agentic AI because they think about AI agent, people think about like a chatbot, kind of like a voice agent. But I'm just using AI agents is including concept agentic AI. So, so, so what they are different from other AI is they can perceive the environment, situation, so they can understand situation, environment, your intention. So this is the starting point that I just train, for example, in the POC level, I use ChatGPT because it require AI agent require reasoning kind of like a model. So usually they built on large language models. And ChatGPT is one of the most used large language models. So I just use this one, and then I train my ChatGPT to work as an AI agent can perceive. So I train my AI agent that the perceive to means that if I provide pattern information, and then it can start to think about what should it do, right? Because I just give this something that you should look at the pattern information, and the pattern information include all the section the claims, and then I teach them claim is legal language, and they have a dependent claim, independent claim. You have an abstract, you have a title, everything. biblical biological like kind of like biblical like some information and other information like what is mean by the specification, something like that. So based on this understanding that if I provide pattern information, it starts thinking that what's my intention to give this input, right? So and then it guide you like look at the dependent claim terms and then look at the difference between the like independent claim, dependent claim, and what this means, something like that. So it started to understand the what's the content, right? Because what you try to understand, I also like to teach them like when you look at the claim is legal, so it's a scope of the your legal line. And then I started to like in conjunction with the specification, you should understand. Like, so I teach them that working as a perception, and then after that I assign them. Okay, so what I want, right? Because I have a specific intention to why you should understand the pattern. So usually that I'm interested in the commercial opportunity, kind of like how to apply these patterns. So I'm not looking at them like a traditional like the search for the prior art, whatever. So I'm interested in interpreting pattern information as a business opportunity document. So I try to ask them like, okay, so understand what is the like a potential based on this like technology and content included in the pattern to understand what kind of like a product or service, a commercial potential it has, right? So I give the all the frame that to understand, and then the thing is they are self-learning. So AI agent, and once I teach them, and they self-learning, and another thing is that they try to using the memory. And then they know about remember what have done before, and then what to improve. And also like they utilizing outside tool to set, they search the database, and also like they utilizing some information stored in the database and extracts to speed up their reasoning. And then based on whole thing, they understand that what the product will be available, what kind of service or what kind of like commercial potential available. And then I started teach that, okay, so based on that act means that I want interesting licensing potential or kind of like a different type of the like monetization, other kind of like pattern application area that I tried act this AI agent based on their analysis and their reasoning. Right, so that's my algorithm. So algorithm framework is that kind of thing, and then I just implement them. So I just for example that. I made like a framework that AI agent powered the patent intelligence framework. So looking at the pattern information and then to get the intelligence, to get the like information. So mostly what I'm interested in is like this. So based on this intelligence, I ask it to act like a strategic licensing and monetization and product development innovation planning and investor due diligence and competitive benchmarking and infringement risk and freedom to operate analysis, patent valuation and IP-backed finance, and M&A and portfolio consolidation, and patent acquisition, sales, sell side and buy side, and technology scouting, open innovation, innovation opportunity discovery. So this kind of intelligence can be done based on their reasoning. So I just made this as like utilizing prompt engineering, ChatGPT, and develop my demo system. So, so that's one actually, the autonomous pattern improvement detection is one example that I implement. So I will show a demo so you will understand. And then they give you the like autonomous like claim chart generation. So it try to find out the two types. One is to you wanna like compare with some existing product you already know about it, and it give you that information that it will compare. Or it's just a blind like testing kind of like I want to look at the most cross product you can or better you can find out information in the website and then try to figure out whether the product feature function will be within the range of the claim element. So this is actually the lawyers doing the like infringement analysis. So I just follow the logic and then teach my AI agent can do the same thing in autonomous way. And another thing is that I heavily working on is a standard essential pattern, like they call SAPs. So I heavily working on this space, and most of the final thing requires that they come essentiality evaluation. So means that whether usually the companies the participate in the standard activities like HU, ITU, or whatever, they actually declare that they hold some patent information patents related to their the specification that actually maybe become like a part of the standard specification. And the reason is that by doing that, actually, they not violate. Later, is there was a dispute claim is coming out, and then they call the user reader SAP is complied to friendly licensing terms and then friendly license term to comply that they just declare. But usually my experience is, for example, I have heavily working on 4G LTE SPs and look at the near the whole scope, and then I manually analyze whether specific declared pattern is essential or not. So you have painstaking work understanding your claim. It's like if you're a lawyer, then you're like a Markman hearing type like analysis. So you put in your claim and one by one, element by element, and look at you need to understand all the specification detail. And then specification has a several part like a mandatory optional. So you should look at whether it's a mandatory or optional, and then you need to compare everything manually. So that was my business, and then usually at the time it was a hot topic. Usually, I just charge about at least $2,000 to generate just one crane chart. But you can see that you can done in a minute using this AI that I developed. Okay, so I tested. I look at actually initially I have a lot of the like a genuine like standard essence pattern LT. The genuine means that I have a claim chart that actually can use in the code. They are very rigorous, and then I have about 100 very rigorous claim chart for the large ranges, the LT. And then I train using this one, and I show that this is the sentence pattern, and this is a specification. And then I just put in my information to the ChatGPT to train them to understand. So given my intention, it can look at the which part of the specification. It can look at it, and then it can find out whether it is essential or not. Just like claim element to element claim mapping and working very well. So I just give in here. So I will show the demo. So the beauty of this is because the same framework you can do other type of standard access pattern because they follow those very similar in the patent. So actually the Wi-Fi, LTE, 6G and beyond, any kind of like standard access patterns, if you develop framework and apply the same thing, and then you can have this kind of like SCP, like a essentiality analysis, kind of like a agent powered framework can you can develop your own. And also like using this one, you can use it, the patent proliferation, anti-terrorism fraud assessment, and then global SDR declaration, patent litigation, and PTAB proceedings. Then you can use it. And usually, additionally, maybe ITU is ICU because in the United States, most of the SCPs initially litigate in the in the in not in the like in the district court, but usually in the like a government operate entity. So for their like a final judgment is an injunction to you cannot import your product, infringing product, right? So that's another one you can think about it. So here then I have some brief report about it, so you can download it in my LinkedIn profile site. And this is another one that I'm very interested in is because recently I focus on healthcare area and I try to understand and then whether if you have a given patent and then whether you have like a licensing opportunity and monetization opportunity automatically you can have. And then this is a most like a painstaking area. For example, I'm a, like a CLC, certified licensing like a officer, like a professional. The credential have it, and then most of the thing that, for example, university licensing office, there are a lot of the like licensing office in the healthcare organization and pharmaceutical, and then they want to license out and license in, and then they what the most important thing is to try to find the right like a partner, like a licensing partner, licensor and licensee. So my intention was starting from patent information and then try to extract all the like a commercial potential opportunity, and based on information and then industry and market information, I try to match with a given patent like a capability with the potential licenses. So it can apply to other people. For example, like for example, if you're just starting from the your bare idea of innovation, and then you want to look at the if I have an invention in this space and you have filed a patent, and then what will be the commercial potential, right? Because you can in advance you can figure out it's very easy to like a tweak that kind of application. So I did it, and then very sophisticated like a framework I developed because of the sophistication of the mostly I test with the pharmaceutical biomedical engineering area, very sophisticated, required knowledge, and I have a very detailed, and I find it's working very well. So I started to communicate with the people in this area, but still not much recognition, unfortunately. But it's a starting time, and gradually promoting my idea to have a partner and then commercialize it. And I want a lot of people have a benefit using these tools. Okay, so then I will start my demo. So I implementing in ChatGPT about it. So this will show the proof of concept. So this is a AI agent powered patent infringement framework for the infringement detection. So it's starting from the some input patent number. So I said like for example use uh 8 biotechnology. And then it tried to understand, this is a possession stage. It tried to understand the content of a pattern. So it look at the independent claim and then all kind of like information related to claim and specification. And then it tried to understand invention. And then try to understand like what the each claim terms, because in infringement analysis, you compare with the claim element. And then what is the protectable like legal rights? And then it try to understand the commercial potential.
Alex, can I ask you a question?
Just a moment. Can I finish up and then I will get the
Yeah,
answer?
for sure.
Yeah. So this one actually look at that this one. And I will quickly overstand, and it try to find out which sector, the commercial sector, can be this patent can be applied. So it's just find out the commercial kind of like potential. So oncology, biologics, and everything like a potential application area. It figure out, and then try to find out the potential product or service related to this patent. And it understand now. And then it tried to check that because you know the large range model is there is some kind of hallucination, some kind of like bias, something like that. So I tried to check with they call lag process. So actually the to check with outside like verified information. So I just have a loop this one to find out what the most up to date information, and also like I store this information. So once has tool, actually, they not search again. and then utilizing this one is a fast way to do this. So I have some kind of like a technique to whatever I have new information, and I map some indexing them so AI can easily find out in which term actually they look at it and they find out the corresponding knowledge. So some kind of technique use it, and then it find out what is the most relevant one, and then it started to like give you some how to utilizing this information. So it give you some information you can utilize one. So up to here that the every framework can use it, and then it started to like the implementing what kind of application wanted. For this one, I just implement like a pattern infringement detection. So, so it started function to market mapping. So it generally in the product or in the market level that what kind of product actually can actually if the product is here, then they can be potentially infringed. And then finally infringement analysis. So it started to pick up one example and then in the deep dive into kind of like what kind of like a claim by claim mapping is possible. So it's starting to like, for example, so you can give the two types of input. Like first, if you have a specific product you have in mind, then you should provide the product information. Otherwise, it's try to based on previous analysis, try to find out the potential product that within in the scope that try to compare. So, and then I try to compare the every product function and feature with this kind of like claim element. So, and then it's cool, like how much it is highly potential to infringe. So, so you understand, right? Because this is the one have it. Okay, so maybe stop here, then and then maybe so can you give me your question, and I will then give you an answer, and then I will restart my another demo. Yeah.
Yes, Alex. I was wondering if you tried this with the 4.0 model from ChatGPT. Do you anticipate that maybe deep research will have similar results or better results?
No, because because I work with other, for example, I work with other real life AI agent project in healthcare, right? So it depending on like for example, your purpose is to like some research type, like a search for the database and understand like you may understand like a deep research in the ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
And the ChatGPT type large language model is they have a very good reasoning model for that, and I use it. And then if you have other things like for example other like Google Gemini and other type of the large language model have their own advantage, right? And then so they have a background reasoning model, so you can start to use it, but additionally you need a fine tuning, right? So they are not very fine tuning about some specialties, right? For that, actually, I train my large language model, right? So if you just use to for example, like a generalized language model, then if you just implementing my framework directly, then they will let the same answer that I have, right? Because it already I fine tuned, right? So you need some type of that kind of like uh, fine tuning and then training process required, and that's why that actually like because so AI agent is kind of like they learn through the experience, right? Because learn, and then if you provide more better information, it will be much smarter. So I really want to collaborate with other subject matter expert, other technical expert to make this much better, and then test it, and then I think that this is very useful. So I wanna disclose this one that other people use. Right? So have in mind that kind of like some limitations, something like. Somebody asked about some false positive or something like. Actually, this is nothing. False positive usually that kind of like the terminology using for if you are using for the your AI for example in healthcare diagnostics. right? In the diagnostics tool, then they usually they train. They are not same as AI agent. Actually, they don't require like the large language model is they call generative AI. So when want you developing some kind of a diagnosis, actually you don't need to like generative AI. You can use like a traditional like deep learning model. And then what you talk about the false positive is kind of like when you train your like a deep learning model and in the diagnostics, right? And then when you train a lot of the high quality data, and then you once you train that and once you want to test it, and then there are two tests because for example, some patient has a cancer, and then AI can diagnose cancer, the positive, right? And then the other is kind of like actually does not have any cancer, but it diagnosed as a cancer is a false positive. It's a very serious problem. So usually two the indicator that tests your quality, but for this kind of application, we are not worry about that kind of like false positive or false like right like that kind of like evaluation. Okay, so no more question. I will show you the last of the demo, and then if you have a question, then and then we'll have another Q&A session. Okay, so first I will share my screen again. Okay, so SAP, I will show you this SAP analysis. So if you're working in the in the SAP area, if you have a done in the essentiality analysis, usually that because usually that require a lot of manual work, right? Because unless you have a touch of phone, for example, like a lawyer, then usually if usually the people doing is that they just to utilize outside like the professional usually that I have I have a lot of my connection working in India and developing like evaluation for this kind of thing because it technically it's not difficult because they don't require initially they don't require any legal like interpretation. So what they're doing is simply look at your crime term, right? Element by element divide. And then at least their technical understanding. So what kind of like a standard specification is a bunch of the standard specification available, so they should understand. And then they pick and choose like which part of the specification corresponding to this one. I also did, but the difference is that I'm a lawyer, so my interpretation is more like a legal bound. So it's like a very detailed about based on like when you're doing some Markman hearing type of the Markman analysis. But usually the initial stage is that they utilizing that kind of like a manual power, right? A low cost power to get the one. And then now I think that I saw that for example, that when if you want to analyze like 5Z SCPs, like for example, in among the 5Z, just if you look at the like a radio interface, like a directory communication with your smartphone, with your base station, still there are a bunch of the 100,000 pages of the specification, and you need to understand. So. So the people usually you can do, and then I'm not sure what the current charge by the Indian professionals. At least you charge $100, right? I think, right? But I think that if you well, I just developed this one based on my analysis. Like I have a very good claim chart, so I trained my ChatGPT to looking at this is a claim chart. This is the high quality. So what is mean by the element by element mapping and the where part of the specification you should look at it and then apply it to 5Z, and then I found it very working. So I will show you. So, so basic concept is the same thing. So starting point is just the pattern number, right? So I just want because this one actually I already manually figured out their SCP. So just put in some number here, right? For example, just providing this number here. So in this case, it's a little bit easier for the pattern analysis part because they just looking at the claim term. Usually, I just put in the more simplified, just claim one, the largest claim one. Usually, this is the same thing I done, like once it's done in the claim one, and then you can include like a dependent claim or something like that, or like another claim, like when claim term one is the broadest one is kind of like a operating system and then looking at the alternative like method or whatever. But I'm just try to make it simple to demo. So and then it tried to understand the Crampton one. So it tried to understand the what the claim can be applied to some specific like a 5Z technology. And then it tried to find out which part of the specification. So it is like so this is a alignment with the physical layer reference signal design in 5Z radio network. So and then try to understand the specification. So it already find out the what is the relevant specification corresponding to this claim. So TS38211 physical channel and modulation and physical layer procedure. It find out then. It's a claim mapping, so element to closure mapping. So it tried to find out what kind of like a specific section can be corresponding to specific element, and then it tried to find out whether it's mandatory or optional. So it just to have like a justification that whether it's a standard essential pattern or not based on this analysis. It produced claim chart also. So beautiful, right? Because I tested a bunch of the different pattern number is working better. So I can extend it to any kind of like a framework, but I cannot using. I don't want to like a unified like framework because of the. I just want the one technology area like a 5G SCP and NL and other type like the for example the Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi what model like a 502.11n or something like that. So it can be more focused one, but it working very well if you just do the like a fine tuning with the limitation, and then you focus on specific number of the pattern space like the technology specification area. It working very well. I tested. And the final one I want to share with the most topic is one I developed is that's one I'm currently working is healthcare. It's kind of like medical and health tech and even the kind of like a pharma biotech area. So So it's same thing. It's starting from the patent, but its analysis reasoning process is somewhat sophisticated. Is one because of the if you wanna find out the really deeper level understanding of the innovation, so that actually you can find out potential market and potential product and then potential licensing. So I ask to the much deeper level understanding. So it does not just to look at the claim and certification, and reasoning about in the name of the like a specific medical application and pharmaceutical or something like that. So I just implement that one. So, but actually, it can understand, right? So, for example, that you can provide you and like I can do my own. So let's have like a therapy, right? Use. So, try to do like a next step. So it give you several options to you wanna do, right? And then understand the market. So it tried to extract the information as much as understanding based on given pattern information. And the first thing is I just assigned him to try to understand the market. So this is one thing that I also useful when you are a startup and then you want to developing your own like pitch deck. And usually that the pitch deck content is to problem solution, right? And then product market fit, go to market strategy, something like that. It's very useful because just given pattern number is the same thing. Given like a product idea, like it can give you the very detail about the market segmentation. The first you look at the which market they can be to apply, and then you want to like for example then to understand in the market segmentation in the go deeper level to understand and which market kind of like they understand and then they try to identify the who might be the potential licenses in this space, right? The license and then in the find out that the in generally that what kind of company might be within the range of the product and service that based on this patent and then within the market and industry. And then it try to understand that what kind of company are active in the space and then try to match with, for example, Parma developer with the active CRTT program. And actually, I'm not like a life science like expert, so I don't know the detail, but I actually they try to understand what kind of like in the life science like biopharma area, actually the company might be want to use this patent. And then it try to understand like what kind of like things maybe can be manufactured, something like that. And then number one, go to next step, and then once you find out, and then try to find out the strategy, right? Is a strategy that now actually the license strategy it give you the like some potential licenses, and then it try to give a recommendation, what is the content, and then maybe provide us. It's a fantastic, right? 'Cause they try to potential licensee, and then how much they may be interested in and then what is your strategy to approach them? So it give you everything. And then maybe uh summary provide I skim over everything and it'll give you the whole summary. So it give you the all the possibility that you can have it with the licensing. So I have a shared my materials and then sample output that including all the details output you can look at it. And then I tested different type of the innovation in the pattern in different type of healthcare. So medical diagnostic treatment and then medical device and therapy and the pharmacological area like drug development and then biomedical like genomics, something like that. It working very well. So I found that it's sophisticated enough to can give you very like the commercially viable answer to you utilizing your patents. Okay, so I will stop here. So it's good time to get feedback from you. I think that this is the first time actually the show to someone in this field, and I really desperately want to collaborate any other like expert have an interest in this kind of innovation, right? So based on my experience, actually this kind of the kind of like innovation is really like utilizing IP. In even like in the total life cycle IP, the creation and development and then manage it and monetize every life cycle stage that AI agent can apply. So I'd like to hear from you about any question or the comment or anything you suggested. How can I go about this can make happen in real life? Alex, do you have any kind of comment or the suggestion or recommendation? Anyone? Okay, so I will share this recording and the presentation. So the whenever you're interested in collaborate with me, then yeah, I welcome. And so if you have something that help me to, what's the best way to promote this one, to have a collaborator sponsor can make this one as a real life platform to can anybody can use this one. Just please let me know. So I think that you are all my LinkedIn connections. So just let me know through the LinkedIn. Okay. So if you don't have any question or comment, maybe okay, so thank you for attending today's webinar. So I hope to see you again in the future, my webinar. Also, I hope that you will be contacting me if you have a good idea to how to collaborate or how to utilize this one to make it as commercial. Okay. Okay, so thank you everyone and have a nice day.